Yo, man, welcome to the platform. If you are on Twitter or if you're into business, or if you are young, you know who's next to me, you know. But just in case you don't know who's next to me, Sibu, can you kindly introduce yourself?
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Sibu Mabena from Duma Collective. Duma Collective is a creative communications agency, and we do a lot of cool stuff in the marketing and entertainment space. We manage talent, we work with really great brands, we put on great shows. We have a great one with WizKid coming up on the 4th of December with Amstel. I had to plug my brand, but yeah, we do quite a lot of things in marketing and entertainment, and that's who I am.
Look, today we are here because of the Fundi Fund, which is something that is like very important for young people, and it's an initiative that you together with three other people started on social media, right? And it became a thing. But for those that don't know, can you just explain what the Fundi Fund is all about?
So, Fundi Fund is actually an organization that manages bursaries. They find scholarships for students. They also disperse loans if you're trying to get into university and that kind of thing. However, what Lasizwe, myself, Ayanda, and Techies actually started was something called 10 Rand Goes a Long Way. And it's just a hashtag that went crazy. We started on Instagram Live one Friday night to raise money for students to be able to get registration fees paid for higher learning institutions. So 10 Rand Goes a Long Way started with Lasizwe donating 10,000, then I added 10, and then Ayanda added 10, and then Techies added 10, then we had 40,000 Rand at midnight. When we woke up, people had donated their 10 Rands, and we were like, oh, snap, we're sitting on about 100,000 Rand. And then we started getting onto Instagram Lives with other friends. The Mudisele sisters helped us out, Siakolisi, Questa, Nadia Nakai, lots of people came on board, and then corporate started coming on board, and collectively over 7 days we raised 2.2 million Rand.
Wow.
Towards this cause to be able to help students who need access to registration fees for higher learning institutions, and that's what 10 Rand Goes a Long Way is, and it is administered through the Fundi Foundation, who are helping us disperse the monies to the institutions.
And I know there was a bit of controversy around the money, like, because it took a while, and people didn't know what was happening. Can you just, explain a bit to those people that may not understand why did it take so long for you guys to actually come out and say, okay, guys, this is the money and this is what we're doing with it?
So what tends to happen in corporate structures is that there's a lot of processes that need to be followed for money to be released, right? So a certain team or people in a team can decide this is a really great initiative and we'd like to support it, and they'll pledge. So when you pledge money, you say, okay, we are going to give 10 Rand. That's the pledge. So in pledges, we had raised 2.2 million Rand worth of pledges in 7 days. And by March, I think the end of March, only about 590,000 Rand of that was realized in actual cash in the bank. Whilst that was happening, the corporates that had pledged were still trying to figure out their processes to be able to make this money leave the corporate bank account and enter the Fundi Foundation account.
Yeah.
And that took a really long time. None of us knew that this was going to be the case. So this is something that we learned along the way. But by the end of September, we were able to say, okay, now cash in the bank, there is a 1.5 million Rand in the bank account right now. And that's why we've been able to then say, hey, 10 Rand Goes a Long Way 2.0. We are now opening it, starting with 1.5 million, to say all your 10 Rands, let it top up this 1.5 so we can get to an even bigger amount so that we can help even more people and be able to help people starting next year.
Wow, speaking about processes, you're a business owner and you understand cash flow situations, whereby as an entrepreneur you bill a client and then client says 30 or 60 days, and then sometimes they miss the deadline and they'll tell you, hey, wait another 15 or 30 days. What's your advice to dealing with corporates that kind of owe you money as a small company and you need to kind of pay salaries and stuff like that? Because I know you've been through that.
Wow, I really have been through that, and I've been going through it my entire cycle of the lifespan of my business. And sadly, it's not something that people intend to do. I don't believe the people who we work with, because we work with people. We don't work with just corporates. There are people behind these corporates. They want us to succeed. They want us to do the work. They want to give us the opportunities. But things happen in the system and in the process that hinder the effectiveness of those good intentions. So what has been my saving grace is savings. I save a lot, and I think it's because they say always save for a rainy day. Rainy days will come, and they will come over and over and over again. And for you to be able to participate in this corporate South Africa, for you to be able to participate in this market, in this economy, you've got to have your own backing, your own cushion. And it's a very difficult thing to say to people who have been underprivileged or previously disadvantaged for so long. As black people, as young people, as inexperienced people, these are things that we're learning as we go. And our fairer skinned counterparts, our counterparts who have been doing this for longer than us, have access to capital. They have overdrafts that go beyond our entire income for a year, you know what I mean? And that's just their overdrafts. So they're able to get the job done much quicker and more efficiently than we are, and corporates will always prefer to work with them. But ours then has to be, how are we going to do it? Do we then pull together? Do we club together as a network of black businesses and say, okay, in China, Mina, I've got this PO that has been issued. It's taking longer than I expected. It's like, as soon as bank patala, straight kuwe. And we must pay it. We must also be those blacks that pay money back when we loan it. If we were to create that economy amongst each other where we can borrow from each other without interest, without making it a banking system, I think we would see our black economy grow much faster. But also, I work very closely with my bank. My bank treats me very well, and that's because I have really good banking behavior. I'm not buying cars and houses and trips and I'm at Diamond Walk. No, they don't see that kind of expenditure. What comes into the account gets used for the business, so it's easy for them to extend my facility on my overdraft when I need them to, and I also don't have it unnecessarily. So it's just good banking behavior, and also having a network that you can depend on, a network of black people who will loan you money without charging you interest for it and then paying them back. Yeah.
Wow. Sibu, I always learn something from you. Very well said. Lastly, I just want to congratulate you on, I assume, your biggest client, Multichoice. And I see that, they've also come on board thanks to you, to assist with the Fundi Fund. I want to know, how does it feel to be a young, black South African to bag a client like Multichoice? Like, how did you feel when I don't know if they sent you an email, or if they when they sent you when they called you say, yo, you've got it?
It's crazy, right? And it had been a work in progress for a while. By the time we had announced it, it's because we had been doing work for them. And to be quite honest and fair, this is not something that happened overnight. I actually did my first Multichoice gig in 2016 when they were doing the Multichoice Disky Challenge, and I was doing cheerleaders and promoters and dancers, and I was a diligent supplier to one of their suppliers, which was EXP, and they gave me an opportunity to get a seat at the table with them. And as time went on, I got to do little jobs for them, a Twitter campaign there, an activation here, an influencer there. And with each opportunity we got as Duma Collective, we really came to the party. And I think over time they saw that these are people we should give an opportunity to, because they are reliable and we can depend on them. And that's really all corporate South Africa is looking for: reliable, dependable suppliers. I think there is still a lot of racism. There's still a lot of institutional racism, but there are also a lot of opportunities, because there are a lot of good black people in really great positions of power who are willing to give people an opportunity. And that's what we got, an opportunity. So the real work then began after we announced it. We'd say, hey, matata, we've got this big client that we have to service and service well. So we're learning very fast. We're working extremely hard, but we're also growing. And that's the opportunity that has come with being a supplier to Multichoice. I'll repeat, it wasn't like, oh, new client, big money, new cars. No. It was
no Range Rovers.
No Range Rovers, my son. It was a new client, which means new responsibilities, which means we need more people, which means we are able to employ more people, which means we're able to enrich more lives, which is ultimately what Multichoice is about. I could have been any other supplier that, more money means that my people must work harder and we must sweat the shop and, you know, be a typical capitalist. But instead, what we have chosen to do at Duma Collective is share the spoils and say, look, as we grow, people are going to grow, more suppliers are going to grow, our industry is going to grow, and our economy is going to grow. So that's what winning a Multichoice has meant for us, that we've been able to help and work with so many young black people. It's been amazing, 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 amazing.
You know, look, thank you for your time. You know, like I can ask you 100 questions because, you know, you've always been doing amazing projects. But yeah, well done. You know, on the fund, and it's beautiful to see what you're doing for young people. Ne? And may you be blessed with more. Thank you so much, Sibu.
Thank you guys, and thank you to Planning for always telling our stories. You know, you guys have been here for a while, and I'm glad you're not giving up. I'm glad you're soldiering on, because it takes the likes of you for other young creators to see that it's a viable thing to do. I go to work to tell people stories. That's an important thing to do, and thank you for always being there for us. Thank you.
Yeah. Danko, chef, guys.